Welcome to your 2050 Perfect League World Series broadcast. I'm your host, DRC, and we just found out our matchup moments ago. The Las Vegas Outlaws defeated the Davidson Cats in 7 to earn the second spot in the World Series. And they will now take on Max Fire's Topeka Defenders. This is a heavyweight World Series here. This is not a garden variety matchup. These are two big Discord personas bumping blades, if you will, in the World Series here. So let's get you guys ready. Let's get you guys up to speed on what these teams are all about, what type of season they have, what type of history they have, and we should have the game starting in about, not this sim, but the next sim. So 23 minutes from now or so. Should be a fun ride. This is one that I'm really excited for, and I'm really curious to see who comes out on top. Basically, we have two schools of thought here. At least two advertised schools of thought. You know, one is that of the budget player who's very active in managing his team, very active in trying to identify matchups. And then on the other side of town, you have someone who says, you know, sudoing is bad. Set it and forget it. Haven't looked at my team all week. So it'll be fun to see in this series when I know these 7 games will get full attention. What will we see the owners do? What strategies will play out? Who's going to dip into the pseudo world? Who's going to play it straight? Will we see lineup deviations? Will we see lineup shifts? All of this is on the table for this series, and two really successful, long-standing players within Out of the Park. So let's start with the Topeka Defenders. So given that I knew they were in it, I had some more time to do some research on them. We'll jump over to their team. So first we'll start with some stats. So Topeka, 13th in runs scored. So below the median there, but their run prevention, elite. So 4th in run prevention. Hey, what's going on, guys, in the chat? What's up, Vic? What's up, Max? API, Nosy. Yeah, the Time Lords bumped out in the CS, I believe. Where was it? It was right here. Division Series to Topeka. Yeah, so Topeka really made its name here this week on run prevention. So 4th best run prevention in the league. From a cadence perspective, they were pretty consistent all season long. Slightly above 500 until an absolutely crazy August. A 21-6 August gave them a very comfortable September. And they were able to win the division by a couple of games. And what they have here from a home away perspective is the formula that I talk a lot about. You know, when you run a slanted ballpark, and we'll check out what his ballpark is in just a minute, I always say you want to play 500 on the road and win 2/3 of your games at home. And that's just about what Max did here. So 52-29 at home, just short of 2/3, and then 40-41 on the road. So very good there. We'll jump now to the ballpark. And look at that. It's a very familiar ballpark to me. This is the ballpark that I've been running for 8 or 9 weeks. So I know it well. I know what players do well in it. I know what players struggle in this ballpark. So we'll see how players adapt in the middle of the series here. But what you have is this is a lefty cheese park with extra base hits nerfed. So full lefty average, full lefty power, minimum righty average, minimum righty power, and then doubles and triples nerfed down as far as they can go to 0.5. Now let's take a peek at the players. There was a couple interesting decisions by Max this season that I saw. We'll start with the lineup here. I saw less deviation or less nuance on the lineup side of things. So we got Musial in left. That's somewhat unique. You don't see everyone running that. given the ballpark here, makes a good bit of sense. So you effectively have 3 lefty outfielders, a lefty DH, and then you got Roger Connor. So really loading that lineup with as many lefties as you can get. The 2 same-side batters in his VR lineup are Hornsby and Jackie, which coincidentally or not are the 2 best same-side right-handed batters. And then the lineup finishes out with Pop Lloyd and Mauer. Neither of them great hitters in a vacuum, but both get somewhat of a force multiplier effect in this park. And as we look at the statistics, oddly enough, K-Line led the team in OPS. K-Line is not someone that I've seen be successful in this park, but that could be driven by some road numbers there, and it's also a short side platoon, so we're just looking at a couple hundred plate appearances. Musial strong, Ripken really strong. This is also surprising. I've never seen Ripken succeed in my ballpark. Let's see if this is driven by road numbers. Let's see. Actually, home is 818. Excellent. Road's even better at 846 on the OPS. But that's very surprising for me to see K-Line and Ripken as... oh, look at this. Hornsby. Hornsby is another right-hand batter. So this is very strange to me to see Cobb and Gwynn performing below their global OPS averages, Connor being right around where he should be, and the team really being driven by right-hand bats. That's interesting. All right, moving on to the left side, or reverse left-handed lineup. You've got 2 native left-handed bats here, Cobb and Gwynn. That's pretty standard. You see most people running 2 left-hand bats in the VL lineup now. Sometimes you see 3, where someone might sneak a Connor in there at first base, but Max doesn't do that. Max has Cap Anson at first, playing that short side platoon there. Ripken, Ivan Rodriguez is the choice for catcher VL. And now let's go to the pitching, where I found some things that I found quite interesting. First thing you'll notice is the entire staff's on fire, so that's always what you like to see as you're heading into a World Series. You've got 5 pitchers on fire, and not only are they on fire, but they're very important ones to this particular build. Spawn and Price sticking out as being most relevant there. But Rube Marquard was the one that I found most interesting. You don't see a ton of people rostering him, and those that roster him, you don't really see giving 23 starts. And not only did he give him 23 starts, but they were really good starts in that the produced ERA is 2.57. However, only 2 of those 23 starts were legitimate starts and not just opens. But still, a successful deployment of a player and a good way to get into your right-handed follower. So kudos to Max for making it work with Rube. You know, I've seen others try this same strategy with your Plank or with Randy Johnson, and perhaps the difference for Max is the control. With Rube, you get better control. You also have reverse splits as well. So better stuff, better control, better movement versus the offhand side. So Rube Marquard's pretty interesting there. Walter Johnson, not only in the pen, but racking up an ungodly amount of innings in the pen. Look at this, 128 innings, and that's not really much of a deviation from the past. He was able to get 130 out of him in the pen last season, 126 the year before. So Max certainly likes what Walter Johnson can give him out of the pen and has gotten a lot out of him. Those trailing 4 seasons, all very successful ones. We'll look at the trailing 3 for perfect league numbers, and you've got whips all at 1.2 or below. This season actually being his worst of the 3. But still a very useful reliever. And so he's going with a stopper-closer combo. Max Fire explaining his reasoning in the chat here of why he went Marquard over Hubble. Makes sense for the price tag on Hubble being what it is. But getting back to bullpen composition here, I do find it somewhat interesting that we've got not only closer and a couple setup men, but we've got a stopper. And that stopper being Walter Johnson, who can come in and mop up games. I shouldn't say mop up, close down games that are close from, say, the 7th inning on. Definitely intentionally being funneled, those innings that he's receiving here. As you look at the rankings of innings deployed here, Walter Johnson out of the pen got the 4th most innings on the team, above and beyond his 4th and 5th starter. So as we look at his game log here, you see plenty of multi-inning appearances here. Not as many follower appearances as I would have expected. Here's one here, June 9th, 7-inning appearance. Early in the season, there were a couple. Okay, it looks like Maddox was a recent add. All right, Sim is in, which means we are now 14 minutes away from Game 1 being played. Let's finish up our narrative on Max Fire's team, the Topeka Defenders. The other thing I noticed here is we have an all-righty bullpen. So you do see this sometimes when someone's running a lefty cheese park, and they have a lot of lefty starters out there. They like to stuff the pen with righties so that they're getting the matchups that they want against those lineups that more often than not are stacked with right-hand batters. It's only 3 left-hand pitchers in total. That's definitely lower than you typically see. Another thing that's relevant before we leave the screen, all pitchers 100% rested. So Max can deploy whatever strategy he wants. We've got 2 games to start the series and an off day, so really he could be as creative and crazy as he wanted to be in games 1 and 2. All right, let's quickly look at his path before we jump over to the Las Vegas Outlaws. So Max was on death's door in round 1 against the Valley Cats. Valley Cats took game 1. Valley Cats took game 2. So Max Fire was in a position where he needed to reverse sweep, and that's exactly what he did, with a convincing game 3 win 7-1, convincing game 4 win 7-2, and then an absolute nail-biter in game 5 that went 12. But Rogers Hornsby walked it off to send them on to the next round. And when they did get to the next round, they ran into none other than last week's champion, the Time Lords. And he proceeded to lose game 1 there in a nail-biter 2-1. Was able to pick up a game in game 2, dropped game 3, another 1-1 loss, but then was able to rattle off 3 straight to win the series. From there, the championship series was just a clean sweep. 4-0 job over the Durham Los Toros. Very strong performance. Only one of these games of the 1-run win variety. And just in general, let's take a quick peek at Max Fire's track record as an owner. This is his 5th week in Perfect League, 3rd consecutive. And I believe first time making it this deep in the playoffs. Actually, I know that for sure because I broadcast the last 2 weeks, and these are the only 2 weeks he's been in the playoffs. So first championship, first World Series appearance for him. But in general, Max Fire is known for being one of the stronger free-to-play and budget owners. I believe this particular team is his $100 investment team. And I believe this team was in the very first Perfect League, which I think was 2030. And in that particular week, he had 2 teams in the league. This $100 team, as well as his free-to-play team. So definitely an owner who knows his way around a lineup. Let's jump over to the other side of town, the Las Vegas Outlaws. So let's first look at stats. So the home road split is much less here. You see a 3 above record on the road, a less dominant record at home. From a seasonal cadence perspective, you see more volatility as well. So there are a couple big months here, May and July, 18-9 and 19-7, and then an underwater August and an underwater April. So a little bit more volatile. From a run scoring and run prevention perspective, 8th in runs scored, so just above the median there. 7th in runs allowed, just above the median there. So pretty balanced approach. take a look at the ballpark. Neutral across the board. Don't see as many of these anymore. Normally you see someone playing with the numbers a little bit. 1.005, 0.991, but just straight up neutral across the board here from the king. And then let's take a look at the players. So pretty standard face of the franchise build here. You start in the lineup off with 3 lefties, going with Hornsby, the very best bat, same side, then Speaker. So the difference between this build and Max Fire's build is that the Outlaws have Speaker in left, whereas Max has Musial in left. So slightly better defense, slightly better bat for the Outlaws. Jackie at second, Mauer at catcher, Mays playing against same side here. So Mays' bat has struggled in recent weeks. Same side. Not being nearly as successful as righties as he used to be. And then let's take a look at the left side. And so in the chat here, Vic is asking why this build was successful running no platoons. That definitely wasn't the case. The lineups you're seeing here and that they're completely mirrored is not how they were over the course of the season. And we can likely see that if we look at how the games started were deployed. Yeah, you see Ricky Henderson with 56 starts, even though he's not currently part of this lineup. Campanella, 62 starts, not part of this lineup. So what you have here is that this lineup was either configured for last series, or this is what he's showing Max Fire now, so that Max is not working off of complete information as he's building a strategy for this particular series. So the lineups are mirrored, but I'll bet you there's going to be a deviation based on who ends up starting for Max. So let's go to the bullpen here and see how innings were doled out. Maddox, Pedro, Mathewson, Spawn. So we're missing Walter Johnson here. He's not on the lineup even. That's somewhat surprising. So Mathewson takes the place of where Walter would normally be. And then in the pen, you've got a closer, 3 setup, 4 middle reliever configuration with 3 lefties in the pen. And given that 3/4 of the rotation is right-handed, those lefties should get a lot of work. So let's take a look at Sheeple King's path to this point. So he swept the Palisade Waves in the Wild Card Series 3-0. Knifed through the Senators 4-1 in the Division Series. And really only had to sweat it a bit in the Championship Series, in which the game went 7, or the series went 7. Pretty tight series with some blowouts intermingled in. You had Davidson with the blowout in 3, and then the Outlaws with the blowout in Game 7 to send them on to the World Series. No Sheeple King in the chat yet. Maybe he's hanging around. Maybe he's getting that lineup ready and he'll be joining us once we get into play-by-play. Yeah, so in that Game 7 that sent him here, he had Pedro going against another Pedro. And oddly enough, the Davidson-Pedro could not get out of the first. Only threw 22 pitches. It's odd to see this because most people would not pitch count or opener with Pedro. He was significantly struggling, so this could just be the result of a quick hook. And as he was struggling so mightily in that first, he gets pulled for Stan Kowaleski, who came in and poured some gasoline on the fire, and the game was over. And Davidson was the team that knocked me out. Not that I'm still bitter. So let's take a look at the Sheeple King's history. Sheeple King, aka Whale King, has been in Perfect League plenty. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his 7th season, 3rd consecutive. I'm not quite sure. Actually, I am, because he never made the Perfect League prior to my broadcast. So this would be his first World Series appearance as well. The Nomads did get the quick hook in the playoffs. Thanks, audiophile. Unfortunately. So that's our matchup, guys. We've got the Defenders versus the Outlaws. We are getting underway with play-by-play in 3.5 minutes. Who is going to win? Who is going to win this series? And how's it going to go? How many games? Do you have the Defenders? Do you have the Outlaws? M-Dub's got Max in 6. Nosy Kyle's got Max in 6. Vic's got Max in 7. Chuck's got the Defenders in 5. Wow. Pressure's on, Max. I really don't even know how to estimate who we're going to see start game 1. The posted starters are Spawn for Topeka and Maddox versus for the Outlaws. No guarantee we see it. Let's quickly take a look at the Outlaws' restedness. They went 7. So it looks like Mathewson and Pedro are off the table. If we recall, Pedro started game 7, but both Maddox and Spawn would be available. And many arms in the pen rested as well. It's a deep pen. 8 arms instead of 7. And we are starting in Vegas. So let's think about that for a second. The Vegas park is neutral. Max Fire's park is lefty cheese. So there are certain starters you're going to want to line up for your Topeka games versus starting in Vegas. And we'll see if we see some movement here. Jay Mallett's got Max in 5. Man, I'm excited for this World Series. This is awesome. So glad you guys are joining me too. "90 seconds to the first sim." Do we have any other Diamond League champions out there? I know DLL had the Winnipeg Blue Jays, and I can't remember who they were facing. I'm curious who will come out of that one. I really want to know who won the Slots League this week, so if anyone was in that or knows, let me know. Hey, thanks for the sub, audiophile. And you too, Luke. Glad to have you. Yeah, but that Slots League was really interesting. I'm curious who came out on top of that one. I think I saw most of the teams heading into the playoffs. And I'm curious to hear who won other Diamond Leagues out there. It's always good to know who's on their way into Perfect League. I think one of the big reasons that the Perfect League stadium meta changes and stays so fresh week to week is you've got 24 new teams coming in there. So it's not necessarily a product of existing teams being wildly variable in terms of what parks they deploy. It's just more that you're getting so much turnover that the spectrum of the league and really the balance of the league shifts on those incoming teams and those outgoing teams. That's why, honestly, I prefer a team coming up that I've seen before and I know versus one that I've never heard of before. Well, let me scratch that. I prefer a team coming up that doesn't have Face of the Franchise completed, but that doesn't happen very often. And so in the face of a roster that's 85% similar, I'll take one that I've seen before versus one that is a wild card. Oh, Brookfield wins the DLL. Is that what you're saying, Chuck? They take it in 7? I believe that would be their first Diamond League championship. Wow, big news. Thanks for sharing that. Congrats to Brookfield. The Timberwolves. We will see them in Perfect next week. All right, it's time for game 1. Let's buckle up and go. We are starting... Oh, this is my game. That's not what you guys want to watch. Starting in Vegas. Outlaws have home field advantage due to winning more home games this year. Let's go. Let's get this underway. Maddox is our starter for the Outlaws. We'll find out who's Topeka is going with once we have a highlight on the other side. Here's the pitch. Little weak grounder. Fielded by the catcher. Long throw. He's got him. Start off the game with a little nubber. 2-3 put out. We go bottom 1. We've got Pedro. So Pedro is the starter for Topeka, and he's in just a touch of trouble here. He's got Tony Gwynn on second and Roger Connor at the plate. Now Pedro is weaker versus left-handed batters. Let's see what he does to Connor. Here's the pitch. Grounder to first. It gets by a first baseman that doesn't even move. Right fielder grabs it, throws to second. Not going to get him, and a run will score. The Outlaws are on the board. On the board, 1-0. We fast forward to the 4th, make it 2-0 Outlaws. But we've got Topeka at the plate and a little something going. We've got a shift for the Outlaws. And Stan Musial at the plate, facing Maddox. Here's the pitch. He walked him. That's going to put 2 on and 1 out for Jackie Robinson. 2-2 count on Jackie the pitch. Grounder to third, fielded. Cross the diamond and gets him. Both runners advance. 2 away, still here in the 4th. And it's going to bring up Roger Connor. Pretty high leverage at bat and not a bad time to try out our matchup analyzer. So let's go ahead and pull up Greg Maddox, face of the franchise. Beautiful, got it. And let's pull up some Roger Connor. So Roger Connor versus right, Greg Maddox versus left. You see a little bit more green on Connor's side here, where he really stands out above most other hitters is his on-base percentage. Really tough to get out, but a strong average, strong slug, strong OPS, strong bat value. And Maddox, really where he struggles is getting those strikeouts versus lefties and that high whip. Let's see what happens here. 0-1 count. The pitch. Grounder to first, fielded. He'll take it himself, and he gets out of the jam in the 4th. So we go top 5. Topeka at the plate. We've got a Pop Lloyd on first and Ty Cobb at the plate. As we see from our matchup analyzer, Maddox is weaker versus left. Let's see what Cobb has in mind here. 1-1 count. The pitch. Crushes it to the left center field gap. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Cobb will have extra bases. Center fielder holding it for an inordinate amount of time, and that's going to cause a runner to score and Cobb to end up with a sliding RBI triple. Make it 2-1. Cuts the lead in half. We now go to the bottom of the 5th. Pedro still on the mound for Topeka, and he's got a little trouble here with Ty Cobb, a great base runner on first, and Tony Gwynn at the plate. 2-0 count. The pitch. Looper to left. That's trouble. It's going to get down. Cobb is running like a crazy man, and he's going to take third. So we're going to have runners at the corner and nobody out. And that will result in another run coming across, make it 3-1 Outlaws. And we go to the 6th. Maddox still on the mound, facing same side Hornsby here. We'll go ahead and flash Maddox's same side number here. You see it's a lot better. The K per 9 still struggles a bit, but across the board, a lot of green there, a lot to like. And let's see what Hornsby does here. The pitch. Crushes it up the middle. That's going to be a base hit and a leadoff single for Hornsby and the Topeka defenders. Just what they need here. Next batter is going to be Stan Musial. He's got a 2-0 count. The pitch. Crushes that ball. Deep left center. It's going to hit the wall on a fly. Around third is the runner. He's going to try to score and will. Musial on his way to third. He'll slide in there with a triple. RBI triple for Stan Musial, and we've got a 3-2 ball game. Next batter is Jackie Robinson. Still nobody out here in the 6th. The Outlaws have pulled the infield in. There's the pitch. Rifles it down the right field line, going to the wall. It's going to tie the game, and Jackie's going to head for 2, and he'll make it sliding with an RBI double. Tie game here in the 6th. Jackie's now at third. We've got 1 out. Infield drawn in again. Willie Mays at the plate. This is a high leverage at bat here, so we're going to use our matchup analyzer. And we see that Willie Mays versus Wright in the past 3 seasons of Perfect League, which is what these statistics are, has not been a pretty picture. The OPS down to 711. The bat value underwater now, and the OBP really struggling at 305. But he's got an opportunity here. He doesn't need a hit. He needs a productive out of some kind. Sack fly. Ground ball that gets the runner in. Let's see what he can do here. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Mays goes down swinging. And the runner still glued at third. The weight of the world now falls to Pop Lloyd here in the 6th as they try to break this deadlock game. 3-1 count on Lloyd. Maddox delivers. Hits it to right. Oh, a sliding catch by Gwynn. That will end the inning and the rally. We now go top 7. Topeka at the plate again. We've got a pitching change that's going to bring in Dennis Eckersley. And his first batter is going to be Ivan Rodriguez. Advantage pitcher in this one. Eck leans and fires. Oh, but Ivan Rodriguez hits it into the corner. It's going to go all the way to the wall. On his way to second, Ivan's going to have a leadoff double. Topeka fans go wild. Next batter was Ty Cobb. It appears that he walked. And now we've got Gwynn at the plate. Now, Dennis Eckersley, not known for his ability to get left-handed batters out. Let's see just how bad the damage is. Dennis Eckersley, VL. Whew! And then let's go ahead and pull up some Tony. Some Tony time. Tony time VR. This is a scary matchup if you're an Outlaw fan watching at home. You've got a pitcher rocking a 5.1 FIP and a 1.6 whip, giving up a ton of dingers to the left-handed batters, facing one of the very best hitters in the game. Full count on Gwynn. Eckersley comes set and pitches. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Clutch strikeout of Tony Gwynn by Dennis Eckersley. That brings up Hornsby. So we'll go ahead and tick Eckersley to his strong side there. And we'll pull up Rogers Hornsby. And you see Eck definitely better versus Wright. No stalwart, though. Still struggles with the long ball. Still walks an average amount of people. Not huge with the strikeouts here. And Hornsby, one of the few, I think he's actually the only right-hand bat with above average bat value versus the same side pitching. So 1-1 count. Eckersley pitches. Lines it to left. That gets through. The runner will head from third, and he's going to score without a throw. Topeka takes the lead 4-3. Next batter, Musial. We'll flash the split comp up there just to show you how dangerous this matchup is for the Outlaws. Here's the pitch to Musial. Fly ball center. Playable. Runner's tag. Heading to third, he'll think better of it and stop there. So an unproductive out there by Musial. Impressive that X struggled with the righty but got the lefty out. Now we go bottom 7. Max Fire trying to protect his precious 1-run lead. And he's got Pedro still on the hill, now facing Tony Gwynn. 2-1 count. The wind and the pitch. Liner to third, fielded. Long throw, and he's not even going to make it. That's an infield hit for Gwynn. Still in the bottom 7th here with 1 away. Walter Johnson now in. Now we saw that Topeka's Walter Johnson gets a lot of work. He led the league in appearances, racked up 130 plus innings out of the pen, and he's got a tough assignment here. He's going to have to take on Roger Connor, representing the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 7th. 1-0 count on him. Walter deals. Grounder to second, fielded. Second one, across, double play! Walter Johnson gets out of trouble here in the 7th. We go bottom 8 now. Johnson's still in, nursing that 1-run lead. He's going to lead off this inning versus Rogers Hornsby. And let's take this opportunity to look at Walter Johnson's numbers. So what we're going to do, we're not going to look at his VR or VL split. What we're going to do is we're going to look at his starter versus reliever split. So right here, this is Walter Johnson, the starter. And this is Walter Johnson, the reliever. Starter, reliever. So you see that he really gets a huge force multiplier when placed into the pen, getting more of those juicy V right-handed bat lineups and also taking advantage of that very notable stuff boost. Let's see how he can handle this tough 8th inning here, starting off with the Rogers Hornsby. 2-2 count the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 away. Next up, Jackie Robinson. Oh, he's got 2 out now, Jackie Robinson. He got through speaker. 0-1 count on Jackie. The pitch. Liner to short, played by the shortstop. That's going to end the inning. And Walter Johnson sets down the 8th in order, protecting that 1-run lead. We go bottom 9 now. Still protecting the 1-run lead. Johnson's still in the game. He'll start off the inning against Joe Mauer. Let's take a quick peek-see at Joe Mauer's VR numbers. Mauer VR. And then we'll also look at Walter Johnson VL. So Mauer definitely better versus right. Walter definitely worse versus left, but Mauer not necessarily a huge hitter, especially not in a neutral park. But full count here. Let's see what happens. Johnson winds and deals. Grounder to first, fielded. He'll take it himself. 3 unassisted, 1 away. Next up, we've got Willie Mays with 1 away here. We'll show the Walter Johnson split for VR. 2-2 count. Wind in the pitch. Little dinker. Who's going to grab it? In comes the second baseman, and he calls everyone off. Makes the catch. 2 away. 1 strike away from stealing game 1 and home field advantage, and he's going to have to get through Ricky Henderson to do it. Ricky, known for his wheels, known a little bit for his ability to hit left-hand pitching, but not known for his ability to hit right-hand pitching. A very underwater bat value here. An underwater OBP of well under 300. Let's see what he can do here. 2-2 count. Johnson winds and deals. Fly ball center. Playable. Drifts back. Makes the grab. And the Topeka defenders grab game 1 and lead the series 1-0. 2 minutes to the next sim. Let's take a look at the box score while we reflect on this one. So, both teams went straight up. Straight up Maddox versus a straight up Pedro. And it played out with Topeka getting the win when Eckersley was not able to hold it down there in the 7th or 8th inning. And Topeka's Walter Johnson, so remember, he had the configuration of stopper and closer. This is where him being a stopper let him take it all the way, and that proved to be the difference here. And what that also does is that's going to have Trevor Hoffman still 100% rested for a high leverage appearance in game 2. So if you're a Max Fire, you had to burn 2 arms to get it done. Pedro and Walter, 2 of your best arms. But you get the win, you get home field advantage, and you've got most of your pen ready to go here in game 2. Will we see Spawn? Maybe. I think that's probably the most likely outcome. And then on the other side, we could also see Spawn. Looks like that's the only option. It's going to have to be Spawn unless he puts someone in the rotation. So that's the effect of having to play Game 7, the series before. You'd probably prefer to save Spawn for that lefty cheese park to get a bunch of righties in there or to punish the lefties that are deployed. But the Outlaws are likely going to have to use them in game 2. Yeah, take care, audiophile. Thanks for stopping in. That was an excellent game 1. I love high leverage games. Love those tight ones where those matchups really matter. I love it when we can get our money's worth out of the matchup analyzer. Let's go ahead and update our graphic and give Topeka game 1. We'll move this up. There, you guys should be seeing that now. And the new sim is in for game 2. Here we go. Game 2. Let's get it on. All right, so we do have Spawn for the Outlaws, as we expected. We'll see who Topeka's pitching here today. Spawn's going to start off with a lineup for the Topeka defenders, starting with Jackie Robinson. Winds and delivers. Jackie flies it. A lazy can of corn to center. Mays will shift over and make the grab. That's 1 away. Let's go ahead and jump to bottom 2, and the Outlaws are threatening. They are facing the Topeka defenders, Greg Maddox here. I'm not sure if this was a Maddox start or if this was a pseudo of some kind, but Maddox is in there now here in the bottom of the 2nd, and he's got runners at the corners and 1 away, and Willie Mays at the plate. Full count there. Mays loops it to center. That's going to score a run. That's going to be an RBI single. Runner will stop at 2nd, but the danger continues until the sim fast forward, and then we end up in the top of the 3rd. So the Outlaws end up with 1 there in the 2nd. Here we are in the 3rd. Spawn facing Cal Ripken now. Let's remember that the Topeka Cal Ripken had a heck of a season. Did even better on the road. We'll see if he can do something today. Spawn winds and delivers. Crushes that ball deep right center field off the very tippy top of the wall. Ripken heads to 2nd. He's got there, and he's not stopping. Hungry for 3rd, and he'll make it with a sliding triple. Cal Ripken crushed that ball and missed a homer by inches. Apparently that run does not score as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and we end up with another Outlaw rally. And this time we've got Connor and Hornsby on the bags and Speaker at the plate. We'll go ahead and use the matchup analyzer to check out Tris Speaker. Tris Speaker VR, still one of the very best hitters in the game, and he's in a clutch spot here. 2-1 count facing Maddox with 1 away. The pitch. Crushes that ball. High and deep to right center. Forget about it. 3-run ding-dong for Tris Speaker. Make it 4-0. Outlaw faithful go bananas as they are now nursing a 4-0 lead. What a bomb by Speaker. We're in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Outlaws are threatening again. They've now got Jackie on first and Maurer at the plate with a full count. The pitch. Fly ball, deep right, back, way back. That ball's gone. Make it 6-0 on that Maurer ding-dong. And the Outlaws are threatening to run away with this one here in the 3rd. Still in the bottom of the 3rd, Maddox has been chased. Eddie Plank now in the ball game, trying to get control of this one. And his first batter is going to be Willie Mays. Winds and delivers. That ball is crushed deep left field. Goodbye. 3rd homer of the inning. Willie Mays plays long ball, and it's 7-0 Outlaws. Outlaws still leading 7-0 as we fast forward to the bottom of the 7th. Have another rally going against Bob Feller this time. 2 on for Willie Mays. Already has 1 homer in the game. The wind and the pitch. Deep fly ball, right center field. That's a double jack game for Willie. Willie hits his second homer of the game, 7th of the postseason, 414 feet, as he's just crushing Max Fire. Wow. We go bottom 8, and what was bad is now worse. It's now 13-0, and Willie Mays at the plate. Does he dare do something again, this time facing Satchel Paige? The pitch. Deep fly ball, right center field, new Mr. October. That's a 3-jack game for Willie, 8th of the postseason. 7 RBIs in the game, 15-0 Outlaws. Someone put this game to bed, and it's going to be done here as Roger Connor loops one to right. That ball's caught, and that's a 15-0 whitewashing to even the series at 1. Wow. Games 1 and 2 could not have been more different. As we now sit tied in the series 1-1. A 4-3 barn burner, and then a 15-0 laugher in game 2. Willie Mays hitting 3 homers in that game 2. As we check out the box score here, you see that Mega Mays hitting out of the 8th spot in the lineup. And he's apparently having one heck of a postseason with a 339 average, 8 dingers, and 20 ribs. Although 7 of the 20 just came in that game that we just watched. Tris Speaker also having himself a heck of a postseason with a 354 average. Hey, thanks, Fabic. Thanks, Chuck, for sharing the subs. All right, so this series is going to turn. It's going to Topeka. And going to Topeka isn't just a change in venue. It's a change in game. And what I mean when I say that is that this ballpark is one that needs to be tailored to. Your lefties are going to hit a lot better. They're going to hit more homers. They're going to get more singles. And your righties are really going to have a hard time doing anything. So in that type of park, you've got to have a strategy that allows you to take advantage of how the park plays. And so let's take a look at how that might happen. So Topeka, one thing I meant to check in the box score of that last game was how many arms Topeka had to burn just to get through 8 innings. So Maddox got completely crushed and removed. Couldn't get through the 3rd. And then Plank had to throw 11. He should be fine. Bobby Matthews, 60. That's going to tax him and take him out of consideration for at least game 3, probably also game 4. Feller's probably questionable for game 3. Page should be okay. Yeah. So after a sim here, we should be in decent shape from a bullpen perspective. Walter Johnson will jump to 100, and Walter Johnson is the stopper after all. So Walter Johnson is, ideally for Max Fire, he's going to want to go from, say, Spawn, if he goes with Spawn in game 3, right to Walter to finish the game off. And Walter will likely be ready. Some of these secondary pen arms, which were all set for middle relief. So your middle relievers aren't necessarily the pitchers that you're dying for most to get into the games anyway. Those are the guys that are taxed and probably not as available in game 3. So as we look at 3 games in Topeka here, the rotation configuration for Topeka suggests that we'll see some combination of Spawn, Price, and Marquard. Actually, the off day will open up the potential for Pedro in game 5. So in 3 and 4, we'll see 2 of these guys. And then in 5, we'll see either the 3rd one or we'll see Pedro. And then as we look at the other side, it looks like we're set up for Mathewson or Pedro in game 3. If this rotation is to be trusted, the AI will set Pedro as the starter for Game 3 because he will be the highest rested after this sim. And so we'll see Pedro, Mathewson 3 and 4. And then in Game 5, we'd be back to Maddox, face of the franchise Maddox. And those are tough pitchers for this park. This is a park where lefties can do a lot of damage on balls in play. And really balls out of play over the fence. And these are 3 right-handed arms that are going to be in that park. Max Fire expecting Whale King to use Price, Hubble, or RJ in some form or fashion to have some lefties on the hill. All of them are 100% rested. So we could see some type of opener or just a straight start. Could just see a straight start at David Price. That would be the craziest thing in the world. You don't see Randy Johnson or Hubble doing straight starts all that frequently anymore. And Hubble uniquely is vulnerable in a park like this, given that he struggles versus left-hand batting. And left-hand batters get the power boost and average boost in this park. But it'll be fun to see the deployment strategies for Game 3. While we've got a little time on our hands, there was another spreadsheet I wanted to share. So what I've got here, and we'll walk through it in a second. Let me unhighlight the team that didn't make it. So what I've got here is all of the teams within Perfect League from this year. And we'll start with pitching. And so what you've got is all the various players summed up. And I've got ERA, FIP, WHIP, WAR figures, quality start, ground ball. And wouldn't you know it, the Outlaws and Topeka Defenders actually ended the season with identical FIP numbers. Defenders were slightly better in the WHIP category. Significantly better, I should say. And then Outlaws taking WAR. From a quality start perspective, the Outlaws more successful at 53 to 45. However, I suspect that could be more due to Topeka's actually taking advantage of the Fopener or the pseudo start, and the Outlaws not frequenting that strategy. And then as we look over here, what I've got are the historical alignments of these teams for all of the years that I have them. So Topeka Defenders, you see I've got the last 2 years of them in perfect. I should have another year right in here, 2048. I'm not sure why I don't. And you can see how their roster has evolved over time. So Max, is that really Greg Maddox SC? He got 33 innings for you this year? Before you were able to get the 100 legend? Hey, thanks for the follow, Hubert. Yeah, so it looks like what we can see here is that Max Fire retired his Maddox SC this year. You know, my 3 prior seasons, he picked up a ton of innings. But he was able to replace him with 100 Maddox, which is a clear upgrade. And 100 Maddox was able to grab 127 innings this year. Pedro alignment identical year over year, so 211 innings both years. What you see is Spawn actually had a huge uptick in innings this year at 239. That's a big jump. And then the Walter Johnson, we already saw that deployment numbers and information. It's a pretty similar year over year. Bobby Matthews had a pretty sizable jump. That's interesting. Looks like he took those innings from Satchel Paige. Yeah, you can see Seaver. Seaver, this was his first year with you. As we look at the Outlaws, I've got 3 seasons of data for them. And the big difference we see here is that last season, he upgraded from 100 Maddox to face of the franchise. And this year was all face of the franchise, so 231 innings. One of his starting horses. The rest of it, pretty similar. You know, Hubble was taken out of the picture this year, which is interesting because we just looked at his playoff roster and Hubble was there. So it looks like Hubble might play a part in this series after not being on the roster all season long and only pitching 16 innings last year. Did we also see Plank on that roster? No, we didn't. Satchel Paige picked up 40 innings this year after only getting 6 last year. So as far as total pitchers, 16 this year, 17 last year, and the delta there really being face of the franchise. Maddox being brought on board. So let's jump over to hitting. We'll go ahead and take the cats out again. And what you see here is that the Outlaws were one of the more productive hitting teams in the league. Number 2 in WAR 600 for their batters. 774 OPS as a team. Strongest in average. Strong in OBP as well. As you look at the defenders, the slug really suffered. And what you see, or this is typical for what you see in a park that has those extra base hits nerfed. As I told you at the outset, I run the exact same park, and it's funny how similar my numbers are to Topeka's. You see our average within 6 points of one another, our OBP within 4, and then our slug similarly standing out as a detriment. But the theory is that the pitching gains outweigh the hitting losses. But you see Outlaws, one of the best hitting teams in the league, and Topeka Defenders, middle of the road. And then as we look at the deployment for each individual team here, this season saw the Outlaws move back from Ivan Rodriguez to Roy Campanella. It saw Ozzie get back to full-time play. It saw Yount drop off significantly. Pop Lloyd, similar role. And then Griffey no longer on the team. So Griffey goes from 140 plate appearances to none. So let's take a look at Topeka and how they've changed year over year. So we see Yogi Berra SE making an appearance. I'm guessing that the Joe Mauer face of the franchise might have been struggling a bit. So he's trying to find a hot hand there with Yogi. We'll download the sim while we're looking at this stuff. Ivan Rodriguez, a cameo as well. So he comes in for 144 plate appearances. At first base, a similar platoon, Connor and Anson. Connor getting a lot more plate appearances this year. I'm guessing that there could have been some LVL deployment as part of that numbers boost year over year. And by that, I mean there could have been some games where there's a left-handed starting pitching where Max Fire decided to roll Connor likely in his park against that lefty to take advantage of the park boost and to set himself up for a late game high leverage at bat versus a right-handed relief pitcher. And the outfield deployment looks identical year over year. So what do you guys think? This is something new I haven't shared with the stream before. You guys like this view? Is this interesting? You want to see more stuff like this? Let's go ahead and give the Whale King Game 2. All right, that looks pretty good. And so we've got a pivotal Game 3 in 10 minutes. Any Diamond League champions out there? I know I made the call earlier. Didn't get much response. We know that the Timberwolves are moving up from DLL. C. Evans just won gold. Congrats. Moving on up to Diamond. Prepare, gird your loins for that battle. Defense lost in the wild card. I got a question. How long do you guys need before you're over your playoff losses? I know for me it's about 45 minutes to an hour. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to get over a season ending, especially if I feel like I put myself in a decent position to win some games and maybe a bullpen blows it, which actually is exactly what happened to me at least in game 5. So this was my exit from the Perfect League playoffs. Nosy Kyle waits all of 30 seconds. Josh asking if we're cracking 345 packs. No, I'm actually saving those packs for this Thursday. Waiting for the content to drop and then hoping to have as good odds as possible of picking up playoff pieces. And I know that mathematically, if I get any more than 3 or 4 total playoff pieces, that's going to be lucky. But I've been holding them for quite some time. Honey Badgers on their way back up. Is that champagne or is that you, Port Dog? Because I thought Honey Badgers were the name of Chasm's team. Yeah, I was doing hide scores, similar to how we're doing now, and watching all of the highlights. And this 9th inning was brutal. Yeah, Champagne will come back up. He was Imperfect not too long ago. I love that you guys are seeing my auctions of crappy bronze cards. This might even be an iron card. Really grinding the bottom of the barrel. I'm actually getting so close to having no dupes. And I haven't ripped packs in forever, as you can see by the pack number at the top there. But I've only got 65 dupes left to sell. This should take me a couple of days, and then I'll actually be at ground zero before my pack rip on Thursday. And I know that someone would just say, well, just quick sell them and you're done. But I can't. I can't do it. If I see that L7 for an iron, if I see the L7 over 25, I'm going to sell it. Grinder mentality. If I see a bronze with an L7 over 40, I'll sell it. If I see a silver with an L7 over 140 or so, I'll sell it. Yeah, Chuck's only got 1 billion of them. 37 dupes. 3,700 dupes. Man. Yeah, I do agree it's worth the grind. And most stuff will sell quickly. Like, you know, if I'm posting this card here, if I want a quick sell, just post it at 51. That'll sell before the night's over. And it's a whole lot better than 5. But if you're selling to immediately then rip packs, you know, I can get the increased urgency. The thing that I can't decide what I should do or not is whether to sell my non-dupes. So, like, let's find a good example. So, non-dupes I don't use. So, probably gold would be the best place to find some of those. Yeah, like this card here. Like, is there going to be a mission where I'm going to want to have Johnny Cooney? I don't know. Probably not. I think most of the missions going forward will be new card releases. And if it's an old card release, I probably auto-complete it. So I'm probably not going to need Johnny here, but I don't know. Part of me just says hold on to him because the 1840 minus tax that I could get from selling him probably isn't worth the risk that I might one day need him and the price inflates to 10K or something like that. Anyways, you guys didn't come here to talk about the market. You came here to talk about the World Series, and we've got an awesome Game 3. I'm hoping for another nail biter, hoping for some real high leverage at bats with pen arms that are a little bit split vulnerable. I'm thinking and I know he's not in this series, but I'll use him as an example anyway. Like a Lee Smith versus left with a game on the line. Oh boy, that would be scary. Ooh, it looks like me and Chuck are in a little bit of a pack war. I'm at 345, you're at 350. I wonder who's going to have more as we go to Rip on Thursday. I'll tell you the cards that I really want right now. I'm dying to get my hands on a Glavine. And I guess I shouldn't say dying. I'm dying to pull a Glavine or get a very reasonably priced one. Because if I was really dying for it, I'd just plunk $1 million down right here. Now, I checked this a couple hours ago, and there was no L7 on Glavine. So that means that tonight, a Glavine sold for $800K, which brought down the all-time down to $1 million now. Yeah, I think this card in my or Max Fire's Park, I think it would be so good. But there's only one way to find out. And until I'm willing to plunk down $800K or $1 million on him, I'm probably not going to find out. What kind of park factors are you guys using? You guys mostly neutral crew? Or are you guys shifting to one side? Nerfing the homers? Going full max? What are you guys doing? API going lefty next week. Are you going to go lefty full XBH or lefty min XBH or lefty neutral XBH? Nosy Kyle, my only tier 2 sub, says he's nerfing his home wins. Yeah. API sees Max Fire in the World Series here, and he says, okay, we'll do that. No way. Has no idea what he's doing, apparently. If you want to talk about park factors, DM me after the stream. I'd be happy to. $90 seconds to the sim. So I think we made a call for predictions on this series, and everyone took Max Fire's Topeka team, and some of them took him in 5. So he's going to have to get to work here if he's going to live up to that. So Bad Weave went full average and nerfed everything else. So what types of players would play well in that park? I think Pedro would be pretty deadly, but Pedro's pretty deadly everywhere. You know, Maddox gives up a lot of contact, so he'd give up a lot of singles. Yeah, API, I actually had a better road record than a home record last week, and I swear to you, I was doing the exact same things that I had been doing the weeks before to have a great home record and an average road record. And I did the exact same things this week, and I end up with a 654 and a 519. So I have no idea how you can end up with an outlier season like that where it just doesn't work. You can't win at home. But, having run the same strategy every season of Perfect League so far. So that's now 6 straight seasons for me. And 5 of those seasons I had pretty similar success home road. And then this year, or this week, last week, I just couldn't win any home games. I was under 500 at home last week. It was crazy. My run differential was like +7 or +13. Nuts. All right, we're simming. We're simming, but we're about to be playing game 3. Let's go ahead and clear our matchup analyzer so it's ready to go when we need it. While we're waiting, just take a quick peek at the matchup analyzer here. I'm going to toggle between starter and reliever. So you can see that it's just much more difficult to be a starter. So the FIP for global starters 421, FIP for global relievers 398. All right, let's go. Let's go do game 3. Pivotal game 3. I don't think you hear game 3 is often called pivotal, but in a World Series like this, when you're desperate for wins, I feel like everything's almost pivotal. All right, so we've got Topeka rolling out Spawn, as expected, and he'll start off the game against Cobb. Now let's take a peek at that outlaw lineup. 5 left-handed batters. 5 lefties. So this is strength on strength here. Spawn is better against left-handed batters. We'll take a look at just how much better. Spawn versus left. A lot of green there. But the Outlaws are doing that because of the park we're in. So 5 lefties facing Spawn. We'll start with Cobb. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Spawn starts the game off with a strikeout. We go bottom 1, and we do have Pedro as we expected from the Outlaws. We've got Ty Cobb on second base and Hornsby at the plate. Full count on Hornsby, the pitch. Fly ball, deep center, back, way back it might be. It could be, it is a home run for Rogers Hornsby. 485 happy feet for the defender faithful. And that makes it 2-0 here in the first. We go top 3. Spawn still on the hill. He's got himself into a bit of trouble here with Gwynn on first and Ozzie Smith on third. 2 away, though, for Roger Connor. Left on left matchup here. 1-2 count the pitch. Fly ball deep left. That ball's back, way back, around the foul pole and gone. Roger Connor goes left on left crime here. Make it 3-2 Outlaws here in the third. Fast forward to bottom 4, Topeka chasing a run. 1 away, and they've got their own version of Roger Connor at the plate. 0-2 count. The wind and the pitch. Fly ball deep left. Back, way back and out of here. Tie game. Topeka defenders tie it with a 418 feet Oppo Taco bomb from Roger Connor. Bottom 4 now. 2 on, 2 out. Big moment here for Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb, one of the best hitters in the game here, if not the best. And you can see here he really thrives versus right-hand batting. Nothing but green pastures as far as the eye can see. And he's got a chance to give Topeka the lead with Lloyd on base with Maurer. 0-1 count on Cobb the pitch. Grounder to second, fielded. Easy play. And Cobb is out. That'll end the inning. And retire the threat. Bottom 6 now. Pedro still on the hill for the Outlaws, now facing Willie Mays. Now we know that the Outlaws' Willie Mays has been just scorching red hot. Now what can the Topeka Willie Mays do in response? 1-2 count. The wind in the pitch. That ball belted. Deep right center. And that ball's out of here. The defenders break the tie here in the 6th with a Willie Mays 427-foot homer to the opposite field. And the Topeka defenders will get into their bullpen with a lead. We're top 8 now, and we've got Walter Johnson back on the hill. Walter Johnson, you saw his work in Game 1 as he took a 1-run lead and rushed it to the finish line. He'll try to do the same here in Game 3. He's going to start off this 8th inning with Ozzie Smith. 2-2 count. Ozzie not known as a hitter. He'll try to get on base here, though. The pitch. Grounder to short, fielded, throws across, and one away. Critical to get the leadoff guy out, and that's exactly what Walter Johnson does there. Fast forward to batter, and we've got Tony Gwynn at the plate now, full count. The wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three to end the inning in the eighth. Walter Johnson with a strong inning. 1, 2, 3. Top 9 now. Johnson's still on the hill. Starting off with Roger Connor. You want to keep the leadoff runner off base if you're protecting a 1-run lead. The pitch. Grounder to first, fielded. He'll take it to the bag himself. 3 unassisted. 1 away. Next batter is Rogers Hornsby. Let's load up some Walter Johnson, face of the franchise, VR. Beautiful pictures there. And Rogers Hornsby, we've seen him in the past. We'll see him again. 0-2 count on Hornsby here. The wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Catcher drops it, picks it up, throws to finish the play. 2 away now. And the Topeka defenders are an out away from taking a 2-1 series lead. They'll have to get through Tris Speaker. So we'll show you the Walter Johnson split. We'll also show you Tris Speaker's VR. Advantage favors the hitter, especially in this ballpark. Very dangerous, high leverage moment here. The wind in the pitch. Looper to right center. Diving catch to end the game. Willie Mays, defensive replacement perhaps, in right field, makes a diving catch to win the game. And yeah, Jay Mallett, I could have shown Johnson the RP there, but I was just showing the splits. Obviously, you can't layer splits. So the defenders go up 2-1 in the series now with a really tight game. It's unbelievable how similar games 1 and game 3 were. So Spawn hands it over to Walter Johnson with that precious, hard-to-defend 1-run lead, especially in a park such as this one, facing a ton of left-hand batters, and Walter Johnson just slices through it like a knife. 6 batters up, 6 batters down, and they were some of the best hitters in the game. Now, the Outlaws' Pedro Martinez didn't have too rough a game himself. 8 strong innings, only 4 earned. But it is what it is. The deciding blow was that Willie Mays home run versus Pedro Martinez. Not an outcome that you'll see very often. As you can see, Pedro Martinez versus Wright, very, very strong. And we've looked at this once tonight. Willie Mays versus Wright has really decayed. Early Willie Mays was on fire. Early Willie Mays could hit right-hand batting great. But as content releases have occurred, he's really decayed to the point where he is a significantly negative bat versus that same side pitcher. So Topeka protects home field advantage. They need 2 more wins to win it all, and they've got 2 home games on deck. Let's go ahead and in our graphic, give them game 4. Or game 3, excuse me. There we go. We are ready. We've got 6 minutes of hold time here. So starts like this are what you love to see. Now, one of the debates that I love to have with people is in a situation where you have a park that favors one-handedness, but you've got a starting pitcher that dominates or pitches very well against that handedness. What do you prefer? Do you prefer a nerfed right-handed bat versus a Spawn, or do you prefer a powered left-hand bat? And honestly, I think the answer might come down to your sliders on extra base hits. I think if your doubles and triples are maxed, perhaps that swings you to favoring the LVL. If you're minned, perhaps it goes the other way, and API makes a good Comment in the chat. Depends on the pitcher too. Like Spawn's LVL is not quite as dastardly as say David Price's. So let's look at the splits here. So 120, 93, 105. That's actually probably better than Price's. Let's see. Yeah, thanks for the follow, CF Edward. Actually, Price is better. So if you're facing a Price, you probably don't want any lefties in there, even with the park. Just because of how vulnerable he is versus right-hand batters and how just amazing he is versus left. Now, you joke about not running Pop Lloyd out against Price, but for those that were with us a couple weeks ago, we all remember when Pop Lloyd hit that ringing double off David Price, and we were all shocked. I can't think of a worse matchup in today's players that are played frequently than Price versus Pop. But Pop came through. Here's David Price versus left on the top of your screen. And just for fun, we'll show you some Pop. We'll show you a little Pop VL. Oh my God, is that disgusting. Ugh. It gives me indigestion. That is just disgusting. 202, 235, 260. Holy cow. Oh, yeah. I know the Yates meta is really picking up on that general channel. Yeah, Pop cannot hit left-hand pitching, and David Price just murders left-hand batters. I got a pretty good year out of my David Price. 4.04 ERA with a heavy load of starts and innings, 162 innings. The whip, a very solid 1.24. He's the type of pitcher that I love to have in place. Let's say I'm showing a Hubble start in my park. If I'm showing Hubble as the projected starter in my park, and I know someone's going to throw a bunch of lefties in there to both take advantage of park factors as well as take advantage of Hubble's weakness versus left-hand batters. And then I just do a hot swap of David Price in there and then watch him mow through a lineup with 6 lefties. That's one of my favorites. J-Mal is wondering how much of Price's numbers were at home. So 95 of those innings were at home. Oddly enough, his numbers are actually better on the road. T-Chuck asking who's got the lower whip, Price or Glavine. Let's check it out. So Price is at 102. Let's see what Tommy G is sitting at. Tommy G at 115. And that's VL. If you want neutral, you know, Tommy G is at 1-1 overall, and Price is going to be way higher than that. Now, Glavine, when you sign up for Glavine, you sign up for a ton of contact. So a lot of those same rules that apply when you're rolling out Maddox about needing to have a decent defense behind him apply when you've got Glavine around, because he's just not going to strike out many people. He's not going to strike out many VL. He's not going to strike out anyone versus right. Bender guy's trying to make up with his Price. Sorry to hear that he let you down in that wild card game. Yeah, that wild card game is just cruel. You have a good season, a season that doesn't win a division, but gets you in the playoffs anyway. You've got what you think is a good matchup, a good strategy for that particular game. You sim it, you see the red light, and then you figure out what else you're going to do with your Sunday. That's actually one of the best things about the Perfect League playoff format, no wild card game. So yes, as a division winner, you don't get the same like automatic bye of moving on to that next round. But I love the fact that everyone gets a best of 5 series. Honestly, make it a best of 7. Like, what does another couple of sims hurt us? We're simming. We're simming for game 4. We'll have play-by-play here in just a second. Topeka Defenders will be seeking their 3-1 series lead. They're able to get a win. Outlaws looking to even it at 2 apiece. Let's go ahead and clear our matchup analyzer. You can see the perfect league averages for each hitter and pitcher. Here we go. Okay, so David Price, we just spent a lot of lip service talking about him, and he's now in the game. We'll see if he's a traditional starter and that he's going to go the length here, or if he's going to be on some sort of pitch count, batter count. If he does stay in the game, though, he's got a lineup with 5 lefties in it, which if you're the Topeka Defenders, you have to like that matchup. He'll start off the game with Ty Cobb here. And we're underway. The pitch. Strike 3 looking. Start the game off with a backwards K. And we're underway. We go bottom 1 now. We've got Christy Mathewson at the plate. Now, Mathewson is a reverse splits righty. So he, in theory, should be able to pitch competitively versus left-hand batters. But as you look at that Defender lineup card, there's a lot of lefties to deal with there. And he's got a tough customer in Stan Musial right now with runners at the corners and 1 away. Here's the pitch. Looper to right center. That's going to get down. A run will score. Heading to third, and he'll be in there with a slide, and it's 1-0 Defenders here in the bottom of the first. We'll stay in the first now, and Hornsby comes to the plate. Hornsby, the only right-handed batter with a positive bat value versus right-hand pitching, and Mathewson uniquely a little bit vulnerable in that RVR. Let's see what happens. 2-2 count. Fly ball, deep left center. That's going to crack the gap. 1 run is in. Heading to third. Will they send him in? They don't. They hold him at third. So second and third and 1 away here on an RBI double by Rogers Hornsby versus Christy Mathewson. And Mathewson struggles to get out of the first, but does, giving up only those 2 runs. We're now in the 4th with David Price of the Defenders back on the hill facing Rogers Hornsby with Roger Connor on first. 1-2 count, the pitch. Fly ball to center, deep. Mays makes a play at it, can't get it, goes over his head and all the way to the wall, and that's going to score a run and cut the lead in half to 2-1. Next batter up is Tris Speaker here. Tris Speaker, one of the best hitters in the game, but does have a weakness versus left-hand pitching, as you can see on your screen right here. The on-base percentage dips below 300. Still a decent power producer with that 405 slug, and we are in a park that boosts him. 3-0 count here, though. Let's see if he's walking. No, he's swinging 3-0, and he's getting a base hit to the right field. The runner will try to score. Throw to the plate. Not in time. 2-2 game. Outlaws tie it up on a Speaker versus Price RBI single on a 3-0 count. We go to the 4th, and Topeka looking to exact some revenge here. They've got 2 on and 2 out. Tony Gwynn at the plate. Mathewson sets and delivers. Crushed to right center. Sliding catch by Gwynn. That will end the threat here in the 4th. Bottom 5 now. Mathewson still on the hill. Dodging some bullets here as he's given up 7 hits through 4. He'll start off this 5th inning against Roger Connor. 1-0 count. Crush that ball to left center. It's going to split the gap. Extra bases for sure. Connor on his way to second. And he'll stop there with a leadoff stand-up double. It'll be interesting to see what type of hook the Outlaws have on Mathewson here as he's starting to really ratchet up how many base hits he's given. We fast forward bottom 6, so Roger Connor gets erased in some form or fashion. Mathewson still on the hill. Here, bottom 6. Ty Cobb at the plate with Maurer on first. Mathewson to Cobb. Loops it to right. That ball's going to get down. Heading to third. No, he'll hold it second. So 2 on and 2 out now. Mathewson stays in the game to face Tony Gwynn. Let's go ahead and pull up our matchup analyzer here as we are getting deep in this game in a clutch spot here. So here's Christy Mathewson VL. And let's get Tony Gwynn VR. Certainly favors Tony Gwynn, especially in a park that's going to max out average here for Tony. Full count, runners will be in motion. Bottom 6, here we go. Matthews winds and delivers. Hit to second, fielded. Throws to first, ends the threat. Topeka is just leaving runners on the base paths like you wouldn't believe. We go top 7 now. Outlaws with a chance to take a lead themselves. Seaver on for the defenders facing Maurer. 1-1 count. That ball belted. Deep right center. Forget about it. The 5th hit of the game for the Outlaws is a tie-breaking home run for Joe Maurer. 434 feet off Tom Seaver to give the Outlaws a lead. We go bottom 7 now. It's Eckersley versus Hornsby. Outlaws protecting a 1-run lead. Full count on Hornsby. The wind and the pitch. Fly ball, deep left center. Did he do it? Did he do it? He did! That's a ding-dong for Rogers Hornsby to tie it up at 3. 386 happy feet for the Defender fans. We go top 8 now. A tight game. Tom Seaver still in this game. And he's got a bunch of tough customers coming up here with Cobb, Gwynn, Connor to follow in this park. Dangerous matchups for Topeka. We'll go ahead and check them out in our matchup analyzer. Tommy Seaver versus left. The whip is really problematic here. 3-1 count on Cobb. The wind and the pitch. And he walked him. You got a great base runner on there representing the go-ahead run. Next batter, Gwynn, and he's run a 3-0 count on him. The pitch. Grounder up the middle. Shortstop fields at second. One. He'll hold it there. So they do get the lead runner, but Gwynn now on first as Roger Connor comes to the plate. Now remember, Topeka only has right-hand pitchers in his bullpen. And I think what we're seeing is just a sequence of really tough matchups because there's no lefty arm to tap to take on this lineup that is forcing this left-hand batters. Roger Connor to the plate versus Seaver. Full count, runner going to be in motion. Walked him. He walked him. 8th continues, and we've now got Tris Speaker at the plate with the bases loaded. Couldn't be a higher leverage situation here. Let's go ahead and get Tris in our matchup analyzer here. Advantage definitely favors the batter. He's got a 1-2 count, so Seaver does have a chance at a punch out here, but this is big-time trouble for Topeka that they're trying to navigate through. The wind and the pitch. Grounder to second, fielded, across to first, 3 outs. That's going to end the inning for the Defenders. And Max Fire indicates in the chat that he did sink Plank into the pen before the series, so he does have one lefty out there. Bottom 8 now, 1 away. Topeka trying to break this 3-3 tie. Hey, thanks, Walnut. 1 away for Maurer. Suter at the plate. The wind and the pitch. Liner to right, that's going to get through. Little C&I single there for Joe Maurer. And the go-ahead run is on first in the form of Joe Maurer. Suter now faces Ty Cobb. Now, Brett Suter, not a reliever you see a ton of. Or Bruce Suter, excuse me. Bruce Suter versus left. You see he's got big-time whip problems there. And they come in the form of a very high walk rate. He's facing Ty Cobb here with a full count and 1 away. The wind and the pitch. Walked him. He walked him, which brings up Gwynn. Those same matchup problems exist in this matchup. Full count here. Topeka looking to cash in. 13 hits on the game, only 3 runs. Grounder to short, to second, 1. He'll hold it as Gwynn beats out the double play. brings up Roger Connor in just the biggest spot that we've seen so far in this game. Topeka has had base runners on base in just about every inning, have left more runners stranded than anything. And now Connor up with the game on the line in a 2-1 count versus Suter. The pitch. Up the middle, fielded by the shortstop, touches the bag himself. Inning and rally over, and Topeka strands 2 more. We go top 9. In comes Trevor Hoffman. Topeka following that formula of going Walter Johnson in the first game of a sequence at home, and then Hoffman in the second. 1-2 count to lead off this inning. The wind in the pitch. Grounder to third, fielded, crossed the diamond, easy play, 1 away. Up comes Joe Mauer, a tired Joe Mauer. The wind in the pitch. Looper to right. That ball's getting down, and it's going to be a single for Mauer. Looks like Mauer got caught stealing or picked off because he's erased here. Or maybe we jumped innings. We're in the top 9 now, and we've got Mays at the plate. Oh, Ricky Henderson pinch ran and got thrown out stealing. That's what happened. So you see a Ricky Henderson over here on the left side of the screen as pinch runner. Came in the game, got caught stealing by Mauer. All right, Willie Mays versus Hoffman here, top 9. Fly ball left field, playable. And that's going to do it for the Outlaws in the top of the 9th. T-Chuck asks a great question. Why did they not show that caught stealing? That would have been absolutely a high leverage moment. But here we are. We're in the bottom of the 9th. The defenders have been flirting with base runners on base all day long, flirting with scoring runs and not quite getting there. And they need 1 run here to win Game 4 and go up 3-1 in the series. They're going to start this inning with Stan Musial facing Trevor Hoffman. I have the feeling that we're going to be using Trevor Hoffman's matchup analyzer here before too long, so let's go ahead and pop it up. So Hoffman VL still pretty strong. 1-1 count on Musial to start the 9th. Here we go. 1 swing away from a victory here. Anything can happen. The wind in the pitch. Grounder to second. Deep in the hole. Fields it. Throws it. 1 away. Still shifted now for Griffey at the plate. 2 away. 0-1 count on him. The pitch. Grounder to short. Fielded. Cross. 3 up, 3 down for Hoffman. Easy 9th as we now go to extras. Hoffman in now for the defenders as well. He'll start off with a pinch hitting Hank Aaron. So we'll go ahead and tick the split for Hoffman here, and we'll get Hammer and Hank in the game. We haven't seen him yet in this series. Hank Aaron's face of the franchise versus right. Low OBP, but does run into a couple dingers every now and then with that 417 slug. 2-2 count. The wind in the pitch. Strike 3 called. Hoffman starts the inning off with a backwards K. 2 out now for Tony Gwynn. 0-2 count on him. Wind in the pitch. Grounder to second. Easy. Cross. 3 away. So 3 up, 3 down for Hoffman. They go to the bottom of the 10th just looking for 1. Jackie Robinson's going to be the man tasked with starting off that rally. He's got a 1-1 count here against Hoffman. Third baseman in on the cut of the grass. Grounded to first. Fielded. Takes it himself. 1 away. 2 away now for Joe Mauer. Infield back. Mauer looking for a little power. 2-2 count. The wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nope, he'll take strike 3. That's going to end the 10th. We go top 11. Hoffman still in for the defenders. Nail biter game here. He'll start off with Roger Connor. The wind in the pitch. Grounder to second. Fielded. Throw to first. In time. 1 away. Jackie Robinson flashing that range that people love to question. 2 away now for Triss. And we've seen Hoffman v. Triss before. Triss, a good hitter versus right-hand pitching, especially in this park. The wind of the pitch. Fly ball right field. Should be a can of corn. Sliding over is Gwynn. He'll make the grab. And that's going to end the inning. Both teams struggling to get anything going here, but Ty Cobb will start it off for the defenders. Ty Cobb, one of the very best hitters in this game, especially versus right-hand pitching. He's got a full count to lead off this 11th. The wind of the pitch. He walked him. Ty Cobb, one of the best base runners in this game, now represents the win run for the Topeka Defenders. Tony Gwynn comes to the plate now. There's a pickoff throw first. 1-2 count. The wind of the pitch. Grounded to first. Up to second. One. He'll hold it there. Gwynn beats out another potential double play, but they do get the lead runner at second. That's going to bring up Roger Connor. Roger Connor of that excellent on-base percentage versus right-hand pitching, as we'll see here in just a second. 372 globally. He's going to try to get on base here. He's got a 2-1 count here. Grounded to second. Fielded. Get the lead runner. They get two. Double play ball. So 3 up, 3 down for the Defenders. We've got a pitcher's duel emerging here in the 12th. Hoffman still in for the Defenders, getting himself into a little trouble here, down to Jackie. 3-1 in the count. Top 12, the wind in the pitch. Jackie lines it up the middle, base hit, and the Outlaws will start the 12th with a leadoff single. Jackie Robinson, not a bad base runner himself. We'll see if he tries to make a little magic happen there. Campanella to the plate. Campanella, not the best hitter versus right-hand pitching, as you'll see with this split here. A 191, 251, 344, so not the guy you'd want up in this situation here, but Mauer's already been burned for a pinch runner. 0-1 count. There goes Jackie. Throw down. Not in time. Jackie steals second base. The go-ahead run is on second with nobody out. Hey, thanks, Walnut. 0-2 count now. The wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. One away. That's going to bring up Willie Mays, and he's worked himself into a 3-1 count. This is also the same Willie Mays that hit 3 home runs in Game 2 of this series. Let's see if he's got another hero moment up his sleeve here in the 12th of Game 4. 3-1 count the pitch. He walked him. Hoffman with the pitch count climbing. He's been in for at least 3 innings at this point. So let's fast forward to Robin Yount. It appears that Jackie Robinson and Mays have both advanced here, either on a stolen base or a pass ball, setting up Robin Yount to be the hero. The infield has come in here in the top of the 12th. 2-1 count on Yount. The pitch. Grounder to short. Runner holds across the diamond to get Yount. So a non-productive out there, and it appears as though the Outlaws score, and the AI determines it's not highlight worthy. So the Outlaws are in the lead now. And we're in the bottom of the 12th, and Defenders need 1 to stay in this game. Hoffman still in the game for the Outlaws, facing Musial. The wind in the pitch. Fly ball deep center. Back, way back. But it is caught on the warning track. 1 away now for Rogers Hornsby. The wind in the pitch. Grounder to short, fielded. Cross the diamond, easy pitch and catch, 2 away. Defenders now 1 out away from evening up this series 2-2. Randy Johnson comes in the game to polish it off, and he'll face an Al Kaline who's going to pinch hit here. 1-2 count on him. Johnson comes set. And the delivery. Fly ball center. Playable. This should do it. Ball game over. Outlaws even the series 2-2. The Topeka Defenders unable to take advantage of a village of base runners over the course of the game, and we're even at 2-2. And we'll go right into the sim for Game 5. I really do want to see that box score for Game 4, so we'll do that after the dead sim coming up after this one. Actually, let's check it out real quick. So we had Hoffman go 54 pitches for Topeka. Extremely long hook shown there. And 43 pitches on the other side of town for Vegas. All right, let's get into the sim. Game 5. Truly pivotal Game 5. Whoever's winning this one is going to Las Vegas up 3-2. We've got Rube Marquardt starting for the Topeka Defenders, and he'll start off the game against Ty Cobb. One in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Mark Horde strikes off Cobb to start the game. We're still in the top of the first, though. We've now got Connor on first and Hornsby at the dish. The one in the pitch. Deep fly ball. Forget about it. Get out the tape measure. Hornsby plays long ball. Makes it 2-0 Outlaws. Forget about measuring that one, the AI says. Eddie Plank now in the game for Topeka. Here in the second. And he'll face Willie Mays. Full count. Wind in the pitch. Deep fly ball left field. Outlaws are playing long ball again. That's an upper decker. 416 feet to straightaway left. And it's 3-0 Outlaws. Willie Mays stays hot. Keeps his fire emoji. Bottom 2 now. The Topeka defenders need to answer back. And they'll be trying to do so against face of the franchise Maddox. They've got 1 away, but 2 on base and Jackie at the dish. 2-1 count the pitch. Looper to right. That ball's getting down. Runner will not try to score, so that's going to load them up for Pop Lloyd. High leverage situation here, so we showed you how bad Pop Lloyd is versus left. Let's show you how good he is versus right. Not overwhelmingly good by any stretch, but certainly better. And then Maddox a little bit more vulnerable versus left. There's definitely going to be contact on this one. 2-1 count. Lloyd in the box here. Here we go. The pitch. That ball's crushed. Deep right center off the top of the wall. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. Here comes the third. Lloyd on his way to third. He'll slide in there with a bases clearing triple. 3 RBIs for Lloyd, and we've got a new ball game. We're still in the third, and the defenders have visions of taking the lead. They've got Musial at the plate and Gwynn on second. 0-2 count. That ball looped to left. That's down and in. That's going to score a run. Musial going for second, and he'll get there with a sliding double. The defenders now lead 4-3. Just the answer Topeka needed. They go ahead and add on another one to make it 5-3. This moves us to the 5th, and the follower Eddie Plank still in the game. Willie Mays, Fire Mays, if you will, is on first base, causing more and more havoc in this postseason, and Ozzie Smith at the dish. 2-2 count on him. The wind in the pitch. Up the middle, fielded by the second baseman. No play to be had. That's going to be an infield hit for Ozzie, and trouble continues for Plank. That brings up Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb, I've told you he's the best hitter in the game versus right. He's not bad versus left, as you can see here. However, Eddie Plank is fantastic versus left. Eddie Plank is downright fantastic. 304 FIP, 119 WHIP, strikes out above average, walks below average, doesn't give up many dingers. We'll see who can come out of this advantage ahead. Nobody out here in the 5th. Plank to Cobb. Looper to right. Should be playable. Gwynn shifts over, makes the grab. He'll hold the runner at second. We've got 1 away now for Gwynn. Plank to Gwynn. 0-2 count the pitch. Loops it into left center. That ball's down. Runner will hold at third. And so now they're loaded for Roger Connor. Big time moment here for the Outlaws. As you see, Roger Connor, not nearly the same hitter he is versus right, but holds his own better than most. And in this park, this probably becomes much more of a neutral type matchup. 2-0 count here from Plank. Topeka seeking a double play. They've got the shift on. Loops this one to right. That's going to get down. 1 run will score. And that should be it. Make it 5-4, and the parade continues. This brings up Rogers Hornsby, and this is what you'd call a nightmare matchup for the Topeka defenders. Eddie Plank, as good as he is versus left, he is extremely vulnerable versus right. You see the FIP jump well over 5, the WHIP threaten 1.7, and Rogers Hornsby is just one of the most menacing right-hand batters versus left. This is a nightmare scenario here. 3-1 count. The wind in the pitch. He walked him. That's going to score a run. Make it a 5-5 ball game, and the bases will remain loaded now versus Tris Speaker. 2-0 count. The wind in the pitch. Speaker loops it. Shallow center. Will the runner try to score? That ball's caught. Here comes the throw. The play at the plate. Safe. Outlaws take the lead 6-5 here in the fifth. Still in the fifth. Plank trying to find some way out of this inning. This inning's been going on for a lifetime. Full count on Jackie Robinson. The wind in the pitch. That ball crushed left center. Left fielder doesn't even move. That's a 3-run Bojack for Jackie Robinson, making this a 9-5 game and making the fifth inning an inning Topeka fans will remember. We're getting some boo birds out here in Topeka. Topeka will try to answer. They've done this once within this game, and they'll have to do it versus Tom Seaver. So they've chased Greg Maddox. Now they've got Seaver in there. Hornsby at the plate, 2 on, 1 out. The wind in the pitch. That ball crushed into the right field corner. It's going to go all the way to the wall. 1 run will score. Hornsby going for extra bases. Oh, it looks like he's going to get thrown out at third, but 2 runners will score on the play. So a 2 RBI double for Hornsby, cutting that 4-run lead in half. Two away now. Jackie to the plate for Topeka. Ken Griffey on second. The pitch. He walked him. This fifth inning is just loaded with action. That brings up Pop Lloyd. We've already seen Pop Lloyd play hero once in this game. Does he have another one into his name? 2-2 count. Seaver delivers. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ending the threat in the fifth. We go bottom 9. And it's time for Suter to try to finish it off. He'll face a tired Mauer and then a rough slate of left-hand batters. And let's remember what park we're in. We're in a park that favors those left-hand batters. So these matchups could be something to look at here. We'll start with Joe Mauer. Suter to Mauer to start the ninth. 1-1 count. Suter is pitching because Hoffman was used in the last game. Up the middle, base hit for Mauer. Leadoff base runner, exactly what the doctor ordered for the defenders. And they'll bring up Ty Cobb. And again, that point I just made that Hoffman unavailable. This is not who the Outlaws would choose to tap for this situation here, but it's out of necessity because of that 12-inning game, game 4. Ty Cobb now, full count. Suter delivers. He walked him. Defenders trying to mount a comeback here in bottom 9. Both runners move up either on stolen base or wild pitch. Have to guess wild pitch here, but that takes away any element of a double play and puts the tying run in scoring position. Brings up Tony Gwynn. We see Bruce Sutter splits there. Not the matchups you'd want, and there's still 2 more lefties to come after Gwynn. 2-1 count. The wind in the pitch. Grounder to second. This will result in an out, but does score the 8th run, and the 9th run is now hanging out on third with 1 away. Infield comes in. Infield shifted significantly. Roger Connor at the plate. Game on the line. Not a bad guy you want up there. 2-2 count. Suter to Connor. The wind in the pitch. Grounder to short. Not going to score the run. Runner holds. They make the play to first to get the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Stan Musial, and it's all down to him. Musial has his own patches of green on his matchup analyzer report here. He's got a 2-2 count in the game on the line. Suter to Musial. Grounder to second. Fielded. Throw to first. Game over. And the Outlaws take a 3-2 lead in the series as we head back to Las Vegas. What a game. What a fifth inning. So 5th inning that saw the Outlaws score 6. And the defenders scored 2. And then a 9th inning where Bruce Suter was able to nail it down despite having just a slate of lineups you wouldn't wish upon anyone. So Topeka employed an opener strategy. They had Rube Marquardt go out there for what looks like was 6 batters, leading to Eddie Plank to get his stuff boost. And Eddie Plank just had a real rough day. Had a real rough day, couldn't get anyone out, despite the fact that the lineup was littered with left-hand batters. Just wasn't his moment. Walter Johnson did come in And where this could be relevant, so Walter Johnson came in for 42 pitches, which might just cost him availability in Game 6. Yeah, Max Fire is making the point that Plank was fine until that nightmarish 5th inning. Let's take a closer look at what happened in that 5th inning. So it started with a Willie Mays walk, and then Ozzie gets an infield hit. A little worm burner there that got him on. Ty Cobb flies out, and then Tony Gwynn gets a single to load him up. Roger Connor singles. Hornsby walks. Speaker had that fly out, and then Jackie had the big blow. The 457-foot 3-run homer that was the big blow of the inning. Rough sequence for Plank. And now Max Fire's facing elimination in Las Vegas. As this sim comes back, we'll take a look at his Walter Johnson stamina. So Johnson is only at 29%, so he's definitely gone for Game 6. Might even be gone for Game 7. I wouldn't recommend using him in Game 7. He'll be at like 60% pitch fatigue. So as we head back to Vegas, let's remember we're in a neutral park. Posted starters are Pedro for Topeka, Spawn for Vegas. Yeah, no way that was an off day. That was an empty sim. But Pedro and Spawn. Let's check pitcher fatigue. We had that wild Game 4 that went 12, and then we had a ton of runs scored in Game 5, so we could have a couple of very tired bullpens. So Hoffman is at 73%, so we could see him. I'm guessing the AI would throw him out there in a closed situation at 73. The effectiveness could be docked some. So we'll see if that becomes a relevant thing. Spawn is almost undoubtedly going to be the starter unless Hubble goes, but we haven't seen Hubble yet. I don't know that we will. But Satchel and Price make up the bullpen. So the bullpen is pretty taxed here. If this becomes a late game and there's a tough spot with a right-hand batter up, it's really Satchel and no one else. Satchel or tired Hoffman. And then for Topeka, I'm guessing we see Pedro. And his bullpen isn't in that much better shape. Obviously, all the available arms are right-handed because the only lefty, Plank, just pitched 87 pitches in that last game. So it's going to be Matthews, Feller, Seaver, and Page taking the ball from Pedro, trying to nail down a Game 6 win. Hoffman at 57. I don't think the AI would tap him even in a safe situation, but I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and give the Whale King his 2 wins. There's 1. And there's 2. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Are we going to get a Game 7? Or is this thing going to end right here and now? Now, you guys know that I love Game 7s because, 1, Game 7s are awesome, and 2, we won't have the long sim to ruin the suspense for us. So I'll make my weekly plea, if anyone from Out of the Park is listening, Please do whatever needs to be done to make the long sim be 15 minutes after the last game of the World Series. It would certainly make the viewing experience here a lot better to not already know the outcome whenever there's a series with less than 7 games. So Topeka has faced elimination in this playoffs. They were down 2-0 to the Valley Cats and won 3 consecutive elimination games. Now, the Outlaws have had closeout games before, too. The Outlaws, I believe they had... Let's check their Senators series first. So they closed out immediately against the against the Senators. And then in the championship series, they had a chance to close out in 6 and lost in the Davidson Cats 4-7. So Outlaws 1-1 in closeout games, and the Defenders 3-0 in elimination games. We'll go ahead and clear out our matchup analyzer. Do any of these average numbers surprise you guys? Like, do you think that you're surprised that a 135 whip is the average pitcher in Perfect League, or a 747 OPS is your average hitter? I know when I first started looking at these numbers, some of those things stood out to me as like, oh, wow, my standard for what is good or what is bad is off from what it needs to be, because the standard is such. Oh, Chuck, your Pedro couldn't strike anyone out this year. That's a bummer. Let's see what you should have gotten. Should have been clocking around 8.1. And if you were starting him, 8.0. But he doesn't walk a ton. He doesn't give up too many homers. So hopefully you were still in pretty good shape, even though he wasn't giving you the Ks. Too much Mauer. Yeah, I want to say there was a post. I think someone put a post, whether it was a forum post or a Google Doc or something, with some investigation they had done in the main game about the impacts of catcher ability. And from quickly glancing and reading that, I want to say the biggest impacts were to high stuff pitchers like Pedro. But that's not something I've spent a ton of time studying, the impacts of catcher defense. I myself run a Mauer Campy platoon. Every now and then I'll bring in Ivan over Campy. But given that I'm running a lefty power park, I never really move away from Mauer, even though I know defensively he leaves something to be desired, although I do D-sub late innings. And Jay Mallett dropping some fire that the 2010 MLB whip was 135, so it makes sense that the out of the park Perfect League, based on a 2010 baseline, has it at 135 as well. OPS 728. That's interesting that that's off. So we see 747 in here. What I've started doing is actually tracking month. I haven't found the application for it yet, but the information's there, so I might as well gather it. So you see I'm toggling batters by month here. I can't tell you that there's anything interesting within these numbers, but I have them. Walnut wants me to say swing. I think I just did. Four minutes. 4 minutes to the sim. And Walnut showing me the love. I'm like your puppet. You're the puppet master. So after this World Series, I'm going to be recording my interview with Quanta Condor, which will be aired on Tuesday. So you guys should definitely check that out. Wayne's World was based in Chicago. Aurora, Illinois, I believe. So what do I need to do to win one of these things? I've been getting my head bashed in the playoffs for 6 weeks now. Hey, Walnut, I would love to broadcast the DLL World Series, and I'm sure that's going to happen sooner rather than later once I get kicked out of Perfect. But until I can see it, I can't broadcast it. The DLL is going to be wildly less represented in Perfect League next week. It's just going to be me and the Timberwolves. Our numbers have dwindled down to 2. Thanks, Chuck. Port Dog asking, what's more important to add a Cobb, or would you say face the franchise Walter or Spawn and preparing for a Perfect League run? Oh, gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I would say that Cobb is absolutely critical and that winning a World Series without Cobb would be really difficult. But I'd say the same darn thing about Walter. Whether you're deploying him like Max Fire is in high leverage spots in the pen, getting 130 solid innings out of him, or you're deploying him like I am in the rotation. I think if I had to choose, I'll go Cobb and then try to piecemeal a rotation without Spawn or Walter. Yeah, so Josh saying that maybe we could screen share to get the DLL World Series. I think part of the problem is that I can't see it. I think the other part of the problem is that it at least partly overlaps with this. I could be wrong on that. But I think this is starting right as that is ending. Yeah, Port Dog, I'd get Cobb, start him both ways. Start him VR, start him VL. VR, have him lead off. VL, bat him fourth. I mean, ideally, you'd have all these pieces, but if you have to choose, I think Cobb's the way to go. I'd be curious to see how I would build a rotation if I didn't have access to Walter and Spawn. You know, you go Pedro, Maddox, whichever Maddox you have. I don't know. Maybe you use your park factors to make someone more playable. Maybe you roll out Seaver with a park factor that aids him. Future Legend McKay pulled by Josh. Well done. Schoolboy Rowe. That might be a bit out of the price bracket. Man, what I want is a Glavin. Somebody pull a Glavin and then DM me. We'll work something out. Walnut, why don't you pull a Glavin? All right, we're simming here. We're simming for Game 6. So if you're MaxFire, you want to see this text simulating change to sim is in under 3 minutes. And if you don't see that, then you likely know your fate. And the Whale King would, in that situation, take home his first title of the year. So no way saying they had about a 7-minute sim on a Game 6 that tied the series instead of instead of a long sim that actually represented what the long sim represents. Yeah, I was looking at the playoff bracket for the DLL this week, and it was 9 DLL members and then Quanta Condor. 9-on-1. Wasn't a fair fight, right, Quanta? But I think Intilati won in the division series. So Quanta won 64 games at home, then lost his 2 home playoff games. Yeah, I've had my own fair bit of playoff randomness, and I don't know. This is sour grapes more than anything else, but the last 3 weeks for me or so have felt like a dice roll. The other thing that I've noticed is that my pseudo starts just do not work in the playoffs like they do in the regular season. And I'll show you some examples here. Games 1 and 2 in my first round series did not go as they were intended. So ideally this was going to be priced to Pedro, and somehow the AI in its benevolent wisdom decided to throw Seaver in there. I guess it knew something that I didn't, because Seaver was actually fantastic. But that's definitely not how it was drawn up. And then in game 2, it was supposed to go Spawn to Walter Johnson, and instead it went Spawn to Fernandez to Guidry to Walter Johnson. We are 3 minutes in here. No sign of a sim. Yeah, I've had 6 weeks running in the Perfect League. I made the World Series and lost to Maine Whiskey Tango. I want to say it was this season here, 2047. And haven't really sniffed anything beyond a first round win since. Michael Vick taking off because he feels like he knows the outcome. Either that or because the Out of the Park stream just started. Hard to compete with drops. So this is the journey that the Sheeple King has been on. So I want to say Perfect League started in 2030. So he wasn't with them in the beginning, but he was racking up some really big win totals in Diamond League. Over 100 each season from 2025 on. Finally got to Perfect League in 2032. Thanks, Walnut. Thanks for the cheer, buddy. Finally got to Perfect League in 2032. Had an above 500 record, but not good enough to make the playoffs, and so he gets relegated back down to Diamond. Immediately goes to Diamond, wins 111, and earns a return trip to Perfect League. From there, he makes the playoffs a couple different times in a row on 99-win seasons, 2034 and 2035. Not able to win the championship then. And then goes into 2036, a season that sees him get relegated, 10 games under 500. Back to Diamond for a couple dominant seasons. One playoff burnout, one Diamond championship. Back to Perfect League for a rough ride, 70 and 92 season that saw him relegated, and relegated for a long period of time. This was right in the teeth of the face of the franchise when a lot of Diamond leagues got a lot more competitive. And so even though Whale King was making the playoffs each year, took him 6 chances to get back to the Perfect League. And once he did, found a 500 season that pushed him right back to Diamond. But as he had done 4 times before, wins his Diamond League, ends up back in Perfect, and has made the playoffs for a couple, now 3 straight seasons, and appears as if he's winning his first championship here. M-Dub asks, which team do I not want to see in my division next week? So here's the things that I prefer in a division mate. I prefer a team that doesn't have Face of the Franchise completed. So I like not seeing Pedro, not seeing Cobb. Those are fewer and farther between. I also like seeing teams that are very platoony, that say have at least 7 right-hand batters in their versus left-hand starting pitching lineup, and have at least 7 left-hand batters in their versus right-hand starting lineup. And I like to see teams that that don't make a lot of changes, that are more set it and forget it. And so the teams that I don't want to see are the opposite of all those things. Teams like the Time Lords, or Wait Till Next Year, or API, or teams that are going to come in there and be very actively looking at what I'm doing and building a counter to that strategy. I'd much prefer someone who is more than content to set their lineup and forget it. Sparrow in the chat. What's going on, man? Congrats on your World Series win weeks ago. I'm still dying to try to get back to one of those. I was all in invested today, too. I was all in. First thing I did when I woke up this morning is built a pitching strategy for the first round. Got through that in 3 games with some luck. Built the strategy for the second round. Didn't go to plan. But there's always next week. Hey, thanks so much, Sparrow. Really appreciate the support. Champ Sparrow, if that's what I should call you. Maybe you mandate I call you that. Sparrow, have you gotten your trophy yet? I'm sure there's probably, good 3, 4, 5 week lag time between when you win and when you get it. But that'd be just about the coolest thing to receive in the mail. Awesome. Sparrow has trophy in hand. That's baller. We'll keep working. I'll try to find my way to one of those eventually. Let's jump over to Maxfire. So as I mentioned, he was in that very first Perfect League. Didn't go quite to plan as he lost 109 games. Went back to Diamond. 3 solid seasons, 2 of which were playoffs. One earned him the right to go back up to Perfect League and get crushed for another 100-plus loss season. And then it was Diamond for a very long time. You see here, what is that, about 12, 13 consecutive seasons making the playoffs and not winning in the World Series. Until 2047, when a 107-win club that scored over 1,000 runs broke through for him and got him up to the Perfect League. And he's been here now for 3 consecutive weeks, making the playoffs each time, and this time heading all the way to the World Series. Sparrow's wife is now finding him irresistible because of that trophy. I think that's what all of us are aspiring for. Probably that question of what is this and where did you get it from? And why is it here? And where are you going to put it so that it's out of my sight? Mac Jax now has the task of hiding 3 of them. Yeah, we're still long simming. 11 minutes in. I think we can call it. I think Sheeple King is your new Perfect League champion. And when the sim comes in, we'll see how he did it. Both of them will be back in the Perfect League next week, as will I, as will the Time Lords, and we'll begin another grind. Another season, week-long grind. Team I really feel bad for and want to call them out here is the BLM Allies. So they missed the playoffs by, I think it was a single game. Yep, single game they missed the playoffs by. But look at their underlying metrics here. So run differential, number 1 in the league. Literally, number 1 run differential in the entire Perfect League. Their Pythagorean difference here, -8. Brutal. Just brutal. Max Fire pointing out that there were some blowout games that contributed significantly to the run diff. Jay Mallet says they lost game 163 too, as you can tell. Their win-loss does add up to 163. That's a tough way to go. Who did they lose to? The Village Maulers, it looks like. Man, these Louisville Colonels, how about them? In the World Series last week and this week, using a 9-game win streak to keep themselves alive and perfect for another week. That's quite the outcome. Quite the outcome. So I wonder who the longest tenured Perfect League team is now. So Time Lords are at 3. Sloths. I think it's going to be the Sloths. Sloths are at 5. Although, look at them. Man, every time they pop down to Diamond, they win and come right back up. That's incredible. So Sloths are at 5. I think these guys are relatively new. Oh no, they've been around for 5 weeks. I guess we've just never bumped into each other in a division. Topeka's at 3. We just looked at them. Hawksview Valley, 2. Colonels, I think, are going to be 2. Yep. There's a lot of turnover up here. That's for sure. Village Maulers were in their first season this week. Let's see Whale King. Whale King's 3. Forney Gators 2. Glendale's been around. I guess they come and go. Just one consecutive now. Davidson Cats 1. Senators are 3. Pacific Palisades 3. And then the Millers 1. Wow. This is going to totally look like a humble brag that I designed from the very beginning. But I can assure you it was not. I am now the longest tenured Perfect League team. A model of playoff failure. But I know that there are other teams that stacked up 10, 12, 13 consecutive Perfect League seasons. I want to say Colorado Lions, I believe their logo is. I know that they had one heck of a stretch before facing relegation a couple weeks back. It's hard to stay up there, I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's right. Bert was up here for a real long time. Somerset. I think the face of the franchise really evened the playing field. And quite frankly, the face of the franchise is what made me competitive. Without that series, I was never gonna be up. You know, part of what made my team was the ability to skip steps in the meta. So, like, I never had a Willie Mays 100. I never had an Oscar Charleston. I didn't have a 100 Maddox until very late. I didn't get Randy when he was super expensive. So I was effectively able to leapfrog these steps in building the then perfect team by just waiting for better cards to come out and then speculating to be able to redeem those cards right away. And so my team went from a team that wasn't all that interesting or wasn't all that competitive to all of a sudden being able to hang around in Perfect League for 6 straight weeks. Yeah, Doc Fury definitely had a great stretch in the Perfect League. BF Bombers has 11 playoffs. Newton's lost with 10. So there's your leaders for most playoff appearances. Every season you look up, the Newton Sloths are in the playoffs. They're in the hunt. I mean, we're going to look up on Saturday night next week and see them in the playoffs again. That's just what they do. 94 wins this year. 99 the year before. They bounced me in the playoffs. I want to say it was either 2048 or 2049 they bounced me. I think I've gotten over it. I'm mostly over it. So we are now 18 minutes into waiting for this long sim. How are we feeling, Max? How does it feel to get this close and come up just short? And Sheeple King, do we have you in the chat? Can you say hello and let people congratulate you? Such a bummer that this long sim exists. It totally takes so much of the dramatic value out of the final game of the World Series. I'm actually lucky that I got bounced when I did in the playoffs today because I had just enough time between the championship series or between when I bounced in the championship series and the World Series starting, to go carve pumpkins with the kids. So that was good to do. Carve some killer pumpkins. Harry Potter pumpkin. Cat pumpkin. And then a dog pumpkin. We'll go ahead and give the Whale King his game 6 here. Whale King was kind enough to tag me in the Discord when one of my pseudos didn't work earlier this week, just to remind me to play it straight. So I think we all have a debt of gratitude to pay. And getting back to that question of who I don't want to see in my division, I haven't had a DLL team in my division yet, and I definitely wouldn't want one, so I don't want to wake up tomorrow and see the Timberwolves in there. You know, the camaraderie and community of that group is a ton of fun, and having to compete with one another in those 18 division games that you face, 18 or so, over the course of the regular season, yeah, that would be great. Unless it was Walnut. If Walnut was there, I'd love to face him 18 times. Be 15, 16 wins. Easy. Easy. Yeah, wait till next year. Well, he's a tough draw in any division. Not fun to have there. Definitely don't want to see the Time Lords in your division. And now that I've said that, I will wake up tomorrow and I'm guaranteed to see the Time Lords in my division. At the end of the day, though, even if you do get a tough division draw, I mean, there's no reason you have to win the division. So all is not lost. You can be in a tough division and I shouldn't call this one tough because we did have some teams that absorbed some losses down towards the bottom of the standings here. But, 3 teams out of this one division make the playoffs. Yeah, Jay Mallet makes a good point. Like when you're running a particular strategy like I am, going lefties hard, you don't want to see other people doing that as well. I did have that happen a couple weeks back. Pidge and I were in the same division running identical strategies, and I was able to get by okay. But it's certainly weird when you effectively are toting your home strategy on the road for those games against that team. All right, coming up on 25 minutes. I think this is normally around when we get our sim. M-Dub asks if Mac Jax is coming back up. I don't know. I have not heard from him today to know if he won his Diamond League. I know he's not in DLL with his main team. His alt was in DLL, and they actually got relegated to gold. But his main team, I don't know. I know they won the first round of the playoffs, but from there, I don't know. Sim's in. But I definitely don't want Mac Jackson in my division. If he is coming up. All right, let's see. Let's see how it all went down. I just clicked on my highlights again. Unless you want to live through that 9th inning. Which I know I don't want to go through again. All right, let's see how it all went down in Game 6. We've got Spawn on the hill for Las Vegas. And it's going to start with a bunt. Fielded by the first baseman. Makes the play. 1 away. Jackie tried to get on with a bunt for base hit. Didn't work. We fast forward to the 4th. Still a scoreless game. We've got the Outlaws Spawn facing Rogers Hornsby with nobody out in the full count. The wind and the pitch. Deep drive, left center. That's going to split the gap. Hornsby's going to get extras. On his way to second, he'll stop there with a stand-up double. Next up, Willie Mays. Full count on him. Spawn to Mays. Liner up the middle, base hit. Around third, the runner's going to try to score, and he will, without a throw. 1-0 Topeka here in the 4th. We go bottom 6. The Outlaws chasing a run here, and they've got Willie Mays at the plate facing Pedro Martinez. 1-0 count, 2 away. The wind and the pitch. That ball belted. Deep left center. Forget about it. Willie Mays. 418 feet to tie the game. What a postseason run by this Willie Mays. Unbelievable. Just on fire the entire postseason. Still in the bottom of the 6th, Pedro now flirting with some more disaster with Tris Speaker on base and Hornsby at the plate. 2-1 count. Liner up the middle. Diving stop second baseman, but no throw. Infield hit Rogers Hornsby. Pedro getting himself into some more trouble. Up comes Maurer. 1-1 count on him. Pedro comes set. Pickoff throw. Nothing doing. Full count now on Maurer, the pitch. Strike 3 called. Ends the inning in the 6th. Then we go tied to the 7th. Now bottom of the 7th. Pedro still on the hill. Got to be getting close to his pitch count with having already given up 6 hits and a run in 6 innings. And he'll start with Ozzie Smith with 1 away here. Wind in the pitch. That ball cranked to the left center field gap, and Ozzie split that gap. He's going for extra bases. He's got 2 and a sliding double. So Ozzie Smith creating some trouble for Pedro Martinez. Not what you want to see if you're Max Fire. Bottom 7, we see a pitching change. So right after Smith doubles, we bring in Seaver to face Ty Cobb. 2-1 count on Cobb. The pitch. Fly ball center. Playable. Mays will make the grab. And runner will hold. Now Tony Gwynn comes to the plate. 2 away on him. The pitch. Grounder to short, fielded. Cross the diamond. Inning over. We are still tied as we head to the 8th. Ripken will lead it off versus Spawn. Ripken had a heck of a season for the defenders. Spawn winds and delivers, and Cal Ripken gets into one. Deep left field, goodbye! Home run, Cal Ripken! And the defenders take a lead here in the 8th. 2-1. Next to the plate for the Las Vegas Outlaws in the 8th here is Roger Connor facing Tom Seaver. Seaver struggles a bit versus lefties. Let's see what happens here. Connor a little dinker. Seaver fields it across with a strong throw. It gets him out. Connor nearly gets the infield hit, but doesn't. Next batter is Willie Mays. 2-0 count on him. Seaver winds and delivers. Mays rifles one to right field and a base hit. Tying run is aboard here in the bottom of the 8th. Next batter, Tris Speaker. 2-2 count on him. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2 away. Ricky Henderson works his way to third. And now there's 2 out for Rogers Hornsby. Still facing Topeka's Tom Seaver. The pitch. Grounded to short. Fielded. Crossed the diamond. Got him. Seaver gets out of the jam in the 8th. Still holding that 1-run lead. We go bottom 9. Seaver still in the game, trying to nail it down for Topeka. Facing Joe Mauer. Wind in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Leads off the 9th with a strikeout. Next batter, Jackie Robinson. 1-1 count on him. Third baseman cheating in. Line to center. That ball's going to get down. And the Outlaws have the tying run aboard with 1 away here in the 9th. Bring up Hank Aaron. Decent time for the matchup analyzer. We'll go ahead and grab Tommy Seaver. We'll look at his versus right. And then we'll grab Hank. Hammer and Hank. Hammer and Hank versus right. He's got the power working for him. 1-2 count. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the Topeka defenders are 1 out away from sending this to a game 7. They'll have to go through Ty Cobb, best hitter in the game. But he's got a snowflake emoji. 3-0 count from Seaver. The wind and the pitch. He walked him, snap throw down to first. Oh, they called it a strike. So 3-1 counts on Cobb, as there's a snap throw to Jackie Robinson. Cobb with the game on the line. 3-1 count, the wind and the pitch. That's ball 4. Cobb walks. Winning run aboard now. And that's bringing up Tony Gwynn. I think we might just see a little action here. So let's have our matchup analyzer ready for it. Seaver versus left. Not what you'd prefer. Gwynn versus right. There's a lot of green there. 2-2 count, game on the line. Topeka 1 strike away from pushing this to 7. 2-2 count. The wind in the pitch. Gwynn rifles it to left. Base hit. Around third comes the runner, and he'll score without a throw. Tie game. The Outlaws tie it in the bottom of the 9th with 2 away. And that brings up Roger Connor. Seaver just trying to find a way to force this one to extras. The pitch. Roger Connor crushes it. Deep right field. Oh, no. Was that an error? Willie Mays drops it. Defensive replacement Willie Mays drops it in right field. A routine fly ball, and that loses the World Series. Oh, no. Willie. Is that a trained Willie? Willie Mays drops a can of corn fly ball to right, allowing the 3rd run to score, as Seaver had gotten himself out of the jam. But the game ends and the World Series is over, and the Las Vegas Outlaws are your 2050 World Series champions. Oh no. Oh no, that's not how you want to go. Let's see, where's the Willie? Where's the Willie? Where's the GOAT? He's only trained to 131 in right field. He's only trained to 130. 132 makes that catch. 131 doesn't. Oh, wow. I can't say that I've ever seen something like that before. Willie Mays got into 115 games this year. Looks like about 50 of them as a defensive replacement. He made 0 errors in 193 innings of right field play, posting a positive ZR, posting a greater than 1 efficiency. Pick the worst time to drop one. Pick the worst time to drop one. They were going to head to 7, or they were going to head to the 10th inning, try to win that game and force the 7th game of the World Series. Was not meant to be. Was not meant to be. Well, a great World Series nonetheless. Congrats to Max Fire for getting there and pushing it to 6. For getting through that reverse sweep they needed to get through the first round. And a huge congrats to the Sheeple King for his first championship of this game. Taking this one down in his home park in dramatic fashion in 6 games. Jay Mallett making the great point that 5 of the 6 games were decided by 1 run, the one exception being that bludgeoning in game 2. But a big thank you to everyone who supported the stream today and everyone who stopped by to watch. It was another fun one. We have renewed our ability to do this next week with my making of the playoffs this week, so that's great. So same time, same place next week. Maybe, just maybe, one of these weeks I'll get to be in it too. But as long as I keep making the playoffs and keep earning the chance to broadcast these, that's a win in and of itself. But for those teams moving up to Perfect, can't wait to see the standings and see the divisional alignment next week and start playing games. For those teams in Diamond or have won championships of their own, congrats to you. Keep working your way up. Make sure you join my stream next Tuesday when we'll do reading between the lineups. And then Thursday, we'll do This Week in Perfect team. If you like the stream, click the follow, click the notification. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap the 2050 Perfect League World Series. Thanks again, everyone, and have a good night.